Hello and welcome to Read the Last Page,
A book club
YAP SESH,
with your two favorite long-distance best friends. I'm your host, Dan.
and I'm your host, B. And how are you doing this morning, Dan?
I'm doing good. It's so early. We're filming early. I don't think either of us got like a good amount of sleep.
No.
And I haven't had coffee. Actually, my plan this morning was like, I set my alarm for like literally 6:30. I was like, I can do it. I'm fine. And I was gonna like have a whole day where I was like, because I see those things where people are like my 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5, and I'm like, that could be me. So
oh my gosh, yeah.
my 6:30 to 9 before my 9 to 12, you know, whatever we're about to
clocking in.
But I was like, oh, I'll just get coffee and I'll be fine. And then I woke up at like 8:45 and we had to be on Zoom at 9, and I was like, what? This is just how it's going.
Yeah.
But that's fine. That's fine. I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it's really chilly in my room because we haven't turned on the heat yet, and it's mid-November, but that's fine. It's totally fine. I think it fits the vibes for this video.
Good, yeah. Yeah. The reason, everybody, that we're having to record so early is because I got a new job and I work at a theater. And so it's like I work weeknights and weekends, which is like when the rest of the world is free. Yeah. So we're like having to be a little more creative about when we can like find time together. So Saturday morning is the vibe.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, and I just turned on my heat like 2 days ago.
Okay.
Because I was laying in bed and I was trying to sleep and I couldn't sleep because I was so cold.
Yeah, well, you also sleep next to that window.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, your window's like kind of cracked. I mean, I know that you like have that AC unit.
Yeah, because my AC unit's in it.
Yeah.
And so it's just like foam.
Oh my
It's like these
gosh.
foam blocks. Yeah, so I was cold.
I'd be cold.
And so I was like, wait, I can turn the heat on. But then I kind of forgot, like, it was like the middle of the night and I was like, didn't really remember what I was doing. So I was like, I don't know what temperature I should set this on. So I don't even know what it was on. But I woke up in the morning and I had on like a sweatshirt and sweatpants and like 3 blankets, and I woke up sweating.
Really?
And I was like, okay, it does not need to be that high.
True.
But
that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been on now. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I'm because like the weather hasn't gotten like so disgustingly terrible. Yet here, it like, you know, it obviously drops down to like maybe below 30s at night, but then like during the day, it's like we're in like the 50s and 60s, which but
that's how I've been feeling. Like during the day, I'm like, I don't need the heat on. But yeah, a couple nights ago, I was like, okay, I'm just cold. Just cold.
The nights get a little terrible. I just don't like it when like my cat is starting to cuddle with me for warmth, and I'm like, oh, okay, like it's like you need this heat on.
Right.
That was funny actually. My whole childhood, I remember the only reason why my mom, I mean, this might not be true, but like this is what I took it as. The only reason why my mom would ever turn on the AC during the summer is if the dogs were getting hot, and she was like, okay, time for the AC. Like we'd be begging like all of May. We'd be like, please turn the AC on. And she was like, no, it's not hot enough yet. And then the second the dogs were like panting inside the house, she's like, we have to turn the AC on.
Oh my gosh.
My sisters and I were like, right, okay, we see who the favorites are.
I would have been like, I don't know how dogs work, but doing something to make the dogs pant. Like, make them go on a run and then come inside real quick. Like, I don't know.
That's so true. Oh, it's so funny.
Well, speaking of having to turn the heat on, for this episode, we wanted to do our winter recommendations.
Heck yeah. Happy December. No, it's November.
No.
Happy November, everybody. Almost December. Happy winter. We're getting into it. Yeah, no, that's a good point, or a good segue.
So when we did our fall recs, we were just kind of both loose cannons, and we just. I just mean we were not like
communicating
so organized. Yeah. So for our winter recs, we wanted to do 2 books, like each. 2 books each, 2 movies each, and 2 music recommendations each.
Yeah, that feels like
and then
nice and condensed.
We have a secret 3rd music recommendation.
Yeah, which I don't know, maybe we'll even put it in the title, but like, so if you're if you saw the title and you know what's going on, surprise.
Yeah.
But like, we're not gonna reveal it until the end
Yeah. There you go.
for segue purposes.
Okay, so do you want to start or me?
You can go ahead and start.
My first book recommendation, and I know Danielle has this on her TBR,
Oh my gosh.
is The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow or Harrow. I'm not exactly sure. So the reason I chose this book, which I actually read in January, I think of 2023, because it says The 10,000 Doors of January, but it's actually just the girl's name. It doesn't really have anything to do with the month of January. But I feel like December and like winter time, I get like magical vibes, like the magic of Christmas. Like it just feels like a time to read like a kind of fantasy or like something beautiful, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this book is like, it's very whimsical. It's like, it's like, I don't really know if I would call it fantasy, but it's definitely like, I would almost call it like surrealism or something. Like it's like hyper, it's not total, it's not like real. Like there's elements in it that are fantastical, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm explaining this very well. But I don't want to say what it is because that's like the joy of reading the book. But like if you like a book about a young girl who is like, she lives not with her father but with like a, basically like a rich man that is like, the way I understood it was like, I think he was like supporting, like paying, like financially supporting the father's like studies. And so the father would be like going around to different places doing his studying, and you don't really know what that is at the beginning because she's a little girl and she doesn't really know what it is. And so January like lives like in this beautiful house. She has everything taken care of for her. I think it's set in like maybe the late 1800s, I want to say.
Okay.
I don't really remember for sure, but maybe early 1900s. Just, it's kind of like an older story. You know, there's no phones, there's none of that. And she plays by herself a lot, and so she's like out in the field one day playing, and she like meets this boy, but then he kind of like disappears, and like she never sees him again. And she's always like, they promised that they would see each other again, and so she has this like longing to like meet him again. And anyways, it kind of intertwines with what she finds out her dad's work is, and like it's very lyrically written. Like there's a lot of description, and there's just a lot of whimsy. So and if you like books that are like, this is very like for readers, like people that love to consider themselves like a reader, and like books are very special to you, words are very special to you, like this will really, like, you'll like it. So
that's so sweet. I was gonna say I have your book, so it's not like you can't even hold up an example of what it looks like. It's on my shelf, guys. Anyway, I do want to read that so badly because I just actually read, you know this, a book by Alex E. Harrow called Starling House for like the creepy vibes of fall. So good. Her writing is incredible, and so I feel like naturally, let me just transition into this winter season. I didn't know it was a historical read too, so that sounds really good. Like it sounds so cozy.
Yeah, and it's like otherworldly. You'll see when you read it.
Slay. Love that. Okay.
It's very good.
Cool. Okay, sweet. For my first book pick, I'm going to recommend Beartown by Frederick Bachman. Or maybe Bachman. I don't know exactly how to pronounce his last name. But anyway, this is Beartown. This is one of my favorite books, I think, in the world.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's like, so quick disclaimer, it's the first book in a series, but I've literally only read the first book. I think this counts as a standalone, or it can count as a standalone if you don't feel like committing to a series right now. So I'll say that. Anyway, so Beartown is a book that follows a junior hockey team in a very, very small and secluded town called Beartown. I love hockey, which is why I really like this book. But like when I first read this book, I didn't actually know anything about hockey, and so this book honestly kind of like ignited that spark for me, which, you know, it's like
Nice.
So yeah, so the whole kind of problem, I guess, in this book is that Beartown is a town that kind of has like nothing going for it outside of their junior hockey team. It's a dying town in like a very, very secluded place. Their community though is like incredibly loyal. So when the town learns that one of the only things that can save it from completely disappearing off the map is their junior hockey team, they kind of rally around them like nothing else. Which,
wait, is it the high school?
yeah, it's like bunch of teenage boys. So, which I mean is great, and we love community, but it also puts a lot of stress on the people involved in the team.
Yeah.
So this book is essentially broken up into kind of like these two separate timelines where like it's like almost like a before and an after, and it all leads up to like a very specific incident that I'm going to be talking about it, even though it's like kind of a spoiler, but it's also a trigger warning. I think trigger warnings outweigh spoilers, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? So the first half of the book kind of focuses on every person that is involved in the hockey team. So like we're meeting like the players, we're meeting like the players' families, we're meeting the general manager, the general manager's children's, the coach, like etc. But most importantly, we learn just how much hockey means to this town and what it means, what it would mean to them if hockey was ever taken away.
Right.
And then it kind of leads up to one night when the star player of this hockey team sexually assaults the general manager's daughter.
Ooh.
And that comes to light. And then or we as a reader get to see kind of how the town handles that kind of situation. It's like, I think it's such an impressive book. It's just very, very insane storytelling through like character exploration, because we have this huge cast of characters. It never felt confusing. It never felt like we weren't getting enough of a character. I think it was like incredibly realistic and like just like handled with a lot of care.
Yeah.
It's really great. I also wanted to really quickly maybe like read just like the very first page, because like this I think is what sucks people in. It's
Okay,
like,
yeah, let's hear it.
late one evening towards the end of March, a teenager picked up a double-barreled shotgun, walked into the forest, put the gun to someone's forehead, and pulled the trigger. This is the story of how we got here. And that's the first page.
What? Wait, I'm like, what does that have to do with the hockey? With the
yeah, exactly.
Else?
You just have to, you just have to read it. Like it's so good. I just love it. And so
Wow.
Fredrik Backman. Also, this is like translated, because Fredrik Backman is where is he from? He lives in Sweden. So this is a Swedish novel that I believe has been translated to English. I believe.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's just so impressive. I just really like it. And so I highly recommend, if anybody wants to like really be like emotionally impacted by a story, this is where you
go. Okay, ready for my second one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my second choice is called, and these were not in any particular order, just my second one I'm talking about. A Sky Full of Song by Susan Lynn Meyer. So this book I read earlier this year, and it is it's probably considered juvenile.
Okay.
Like upper elementary, maybe middle school. The main character is probably 12, 13. If you guys didn't know, I love to read juvenile middle grade books, and I just picked this up from the shelf because I liked the cover, and it was called A Sky Full of Song, and I thought that was a pretty title. So it's about a family moving to America. They're Jewish, so I can't remember exactly which country they were from, but honestly, whenever I give book recommendations, I'm always feel like I'm like, so I don't remember what this is
No, I
about.
remember like -2% of every book I ever read. So.
So I know that it's I feel like this is a similar time period of like late 1800s, early 1900s,
Okay.
when like a lot of people were coming to America for like uh like safety.
Yeah.
So they so the it's a family of mom and a dad, an older brother, and then two sisters. And the dad and the brother move already, and they're like they buy a small piece of land, and they're like literally building their own house like into the side of the like like a hill, you know what I mean, like a one of those houses that's like in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And they're working the land, like providing for their family to all move over. So then the mom and the sisters finally move there, and so they go to school. And it's like, you know, they have to like walk 2 miles to school.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a one room classroom. And so all the other kids in the area are there, and all the other kids are Christian. They're the only two Jewish ones. And
Mm.
so um, it's like, it was just really, really interesting to read, because these two girls are feeling out of place for the first time. Like, they, you know, back at home, they were surrounded with by people that are, you know, all like them, and, you know, and like one of the girls is very, very nice to them in their class, but, you know, some of the girls are wanting to basically convert them, you know, like,
Oh.
you know, and some of the older boys in the class, because they're all in the classroom together, are like, I mean, literally like bullying them, like bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just kind of about like, it's about the younger sister. I think the girls are like 12 and 14, and it's from the 12-year-old's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like coming of age, finding your identity type of book. And it's just really interesting to see like the different perspectives of the people that are surrounding them. Like, they get into like some bad situations, like it's like snowing and they have to like walk home, and it's like really dangerous, and it's like who comes to the aid of who, and who's there, you know, who can put the differences aside, and like stuff like that.
Mm.
And also very strong sister themes, because the older sister really wants to like stay true to their Jewish heritage, and like that's really important to her. The younger sister wants to fit in with the girls at school, and so they're having, I thought of this for like winter time, because it's like Christmas is coming up in the book, and at the school they're going to do like a Christmas program where they sing songs.
Mm-hmm.
And the younger sister is like, well, let's just sing the songs about, you know, baby Jesus, because we want to fit in. Well, the older sister's like, well, that's like not what we believe, and like, why can't we ask to sing one of our songs, you know,
Mm-hmm.
for like our holiday? And so there's some tension between the sisters, and which I think was very well done. Like, you know, like, as someone who has a lot of sisters, I could relate to both of them in different circumstances. And so there's snow, there's winter holidays coming up, so that's what made me think of it for like winter time. And yeah, I really liked it. Like I said in our last episode, like I've read a lot of books this year that have different cultures and stuff, and it's just been, I don't know, I've just really, really enjoyed like putting myself in a bunch of different people's shoes. And
Yeah.
I know that it's for middle grade, but I don't know, I really recommend it.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. That sounds nice. Sounds like
Yeah,
a good pick.
I liked it a lot.
So my original plan when I was picking out books, and movies and music, whatever, was like I was like, okay, I'll do like a sad one and I'll do like a cozy one, right? Because I feel like it's like winter kind of like
Uh-huh.
you're either like so dreary, cold, depressed, or like you're like, oh, sweaters and like the
Right.
fireplace is going and I'm drinking hot chocolate. And so I was like, cool, it'd be nice to like have a recommendation for whatever vibe you're feeling. Well, thing is,
Mhm.
I can never find like a good winter book that I think is like feel good, happy. I feel like I
Yeah.
like just it's hard. They're hard to find. If anyone has like a really good feel good holiday winter book, like send them my way. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm recommending another.
Drop it in the comments. Send us an email.
Please, please. I'm like struggling. But I'm gonna recommend another sad one, but I think you recommended some not so sad ones, so hopefully it bounces out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm recommending a book called In Memoriam by Alice Wynne. And so this book is it's a love story between two young boys who meet at a boarding school during the early years of World War One. And then what happens when one of them decides to enlist early, and what happens when the other one decides to follow them to war.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a devastating book. If you obviously are from the present day reading this, you have a knowledge that the characters experiencing this do not have, which is this is far from the end, and that like war looms kind of over the entire 20th century. And so, yeah, it's just really heartbreaking, very hard to read. However, this was the
But you should read it.
yeah, you should read it. No, but like genuinely, it was the last book I read in 2023, and I kind of read it between that like awkward week where like you have Christmas and then you have New Year's and you don't really know what to do in those 6 days.
Yeah.
And so I had that time off, and I was like, well, I'll just like stay at my parents' house and I'll just like read a whole bunch and like catch up with
That's so
people and
sweet.
read. Right? Well, this is the only book I ended up reading because it put me like in such a mood. Like I was feeling so many emotions that I was like, I genuinely don't even want to pick up another book because I don't want to like ruin like the feelings I had when I was reading this book. I didn't think anything was going to measure up. It was right. So I was like, I'm waiting till the new year and then I'll start fresh. And like that's
a good idea.
That's how serious it was to me. It was just so
Yeah.
good. So I'm recommending this to you if like you're either a fan of history, or if you're just like curious about World War One. Me and B obviously are from Kansas City, and I feel like a lot of Kansas Cityans just have like that natural curiosity about World War One because we had the World War One museum in Kansas City.
Oh yeah, true.
And so like many Kansas Cityans have just been to that museum a handful of times in their lives, and I feel like it's just like something that I've always kind of felt like it's like I don't feel like a weird connection to it because that's odd. It's like a war, but like I am very curious about it because I think it's just like how depressing would it be if like this thing, like this horrible moment in time exists and I didn't do anything to like learn about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think if you're
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna ask a question.
Yeah.
Are the boys like 16?
Yeah, they're young.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and it kind of like
I was just
spans
curious.
over a couple years because it's like the start of World War One, and then we follow as it progresses, and so
Gotcha.
they age with the book. But yeah, it's just like if you're even also like somebody who's like kind of scared to like read a World War One book or like a history book, like I do think that this is actually also a good book to get into because it's like really what like is also driving that story forward is like this love story that's like very beautiful and heartbreaking and unique, like one of the more unique love stories I think I've read. So for sure go read it. It's
Nice.
if you feel up for it. Maybe also wait till the spring. Perhaps a spring read if you're not feeling it.
If you can't, yeah.
You can't handle it. Yeah, for sure.
That I feel like we had a good scope of books. Those were all very different.
Hopefully that there's something for everybody in there. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Okay, you ready for movies?
Let's get into it.
Okay. My first movie that I'm going to recommend is The Holdovers.
Oh my god, I almost did that. I'm glad I didn't. Okay.
Made in 2023. So I actually watched this movie, I think over the summer or something. Like I watched it this year. And I personally want to rewatch it because it's a winter movie, so it takes place at like a boys' boarding school during the holdover period from like Christmas break until they come back from after the new year. And it's just about this one kid that has to stay there, and everyone else gets to go, you know, do Christmas with their family or be on vacation or whatnot. And I honestly don't even remember why he doesn't get to go home. I don't remember. But so it's just him and the one teacher who's like signed up to be the teacher that stays there. And that teacher is kind of like, he's kind of tough to crack. He's very like dry and like, I don't even know that he was necessarily mean, but he was just like very strict with his class and stuff. And so, you know, the kid is like, oh, okay, of all the teachers, like, why does it have to be this guy?
Yeah.
And it's just them two, and like the one, like the chef that's in the kitchen that's like making meals for him.
Love her.
It's basically just them three, and because of that, they get to know each other, and you know, learn that basically everyone's not always what they seem on the surface. And it's just a very like, it's very coming of age, and it's very like, I don't know, I remember watching it, and I just like, it kind of has that hope for like community, you know what I mean? Like you never know what person is gonna be in your life that might change you or like make you see things in a new way. And it's just like a comforting like watch. And it's very on theme for winter time because it's literally taking place over winter break. So I'm really looking forward to rewatching it. And so yeah, I recommend it. It's similar, like if you like Dead Poets Society vibes, like this is the same type of thing. Except for it's really just about one boy as opposed to like the whole group of boys. You see, like at the beginning, you get a little bit of like the whole group when they're all in school, but then it just focuses mostly on the one. So yeah.
Good point. That's great. Yes, I love The Holdovers. It's a very good Christmas recommend. I saw that actually last Thanksgiving in theaters.
In theaters?
I dragged my family, and I don't think they liked it, but I was like, guys, that's because they don't have taste. It's fine. It's not because it's a bad movie, guys. It's because they don't have taste. Sorry, Mom. My mom's definitely watching this. No, I'm just kidding. I love her. Anyway.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's a really good one. Okay, wait, but that's cute because the next the movie I'm gonna recommend, we saw in theaters on Christmas the year it came out, and you do know what it is? Wait, actually. There's a couple
options.
I don't think it's the most obvious one because I didn't want to be too obvious. So I'm gonna recommend The Fabelmans.
Oh yeah. I thought you might do this one.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. So this is a story, if you guys don't know, about Steven Spielberg's life. It was directed by Steven Spielberg. It's about his kind of experience as a kid into his teenage years. Kind of what started that spark for him to start making movies. But like I think most importantly, it's about his relationship with his family, specifically his mom, and what that had like the impact that had as far as on him, and then on his work that we all know and love. And I think Steven Spielberg is just like the man when it comes to like, oh, I want to watch a movie that feels magical. Like it's like Steven Spielberg. Like it's like I feel like he just knows how to give movies like the spark that you want. And so this is one of those that like I remember when we saw it in the theater, I was just sobbing for some reason, just like crying.
Yes.
Laura was like, okay.
I was like trying not to. I like leaned over to like say something and make a comment, and I was like, I'm gonna leave her be.
Oh, she's crying. She's crying. No, literally, I was just crying. I think it's because I like felt like it was just. I mean, it's a kind of emotional movie, but like also it's just like so beautiful and like. I don't know. It was just great. And also, I mean, the opening scene of that one is like they're waiting in line at a movie theater, and then they're driving back from the movie and it's snowing. And then like we get like this whole Christmas kind of sequence. Like that's just like, it gives me the same buzz as like Little Women opening up on Christmas Day, you know, and it's like Merry Christmas World. Like it's like that's how I feel when I'm watching the opening of The Fabelmans. So I think it's just like a classically like magical movie that I feel like people should watch. It might make you cry though, so just be prepared.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, that's a good one. So Little Women was my honorable mention because I said
Duh.
because of course. And I was like, I wonder if Danielle will do that one. But then I was thinking, I was like, she might do The Fabelmans. Okay. Like I feel like we don't even have to talk about Little Women.
Yeah, duh, like watch it, and if you haven't, that's insane. And it's, by the way, we're talking about the 2019 version. Like it's like I like a lot of the other Little Women's too, but 2019 is like superior to both of us. So
okay, here's my next movie recommendation.
Gosh, okay.
Rogue One 2016.
Yeah, okay. Should have known.
So when I was thinking about like movies to watch in wintertime, Rogue One just kept popping up in my head. And I think it's because I personally have watched it a lot during wintertime. Because guys, I've watched this movie like an exorbitant amount of times. I don't even know how many times. If you didn't know, it's my favorite Star Wars movie. And I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, but why would this like actually be good for wintertime? I feel like it has like winter time color to it. Yeah. Like it's a very blue and white movie. You know what I mean? And I just feel like it kind of gives off that aesthetic. And I was also thinking like I feel like the holidays when you have time off is when a lot of people rewatch like the series, like the Harry Potters or the Star Wars movies. And so I was like, if people are already thinking about watching Star Wars and they haven't watched Rogue One, I want to encourage that you give it a try, because to me, like, it's my favorite Star Wars movie. And if you already know, like, if you've seen the original 6, then like Rogue One takes place in between episode 3 and 4, I think. It's right before A New Hope. So like you will appreciate the story because it connects right in with the story, but it's a standalone, like it's kind of a standalone movie, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to watch it in the context of everything else. Like whenever I watch one of the movies that's in one of the trilogies, I always feel like, oh, I need to watch the whole trilogy, you know?
Right.
It is just so good. I love it so bad. And Danielle knows this because I've made her watch it so many times. But it's like, it's very much about hope. It's a little bit about family too. And like, it's about deciding to like fight for something that you believe is right, even if you don't know like what the outcome will be, like doing what you think is right and hoping that it's going to have like a good chain reaction, but you might not be there to like see it through, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just like, it's also just fun. I mean, like the Star Wars movies, I feel like are just like, oh, like let's all watch with the family because it's just like a fun movie that everyone likes, you know, like that type of vibe. So yeah. Anyways, that's my second movie recommendation.
Yeah, I should have known. But yeah, that's a good point. It's like Rogue One, I think. Well, Star Wars in general, I think, are actually really like good, underrated, like holiday films.
Yeah.
I feel like it's maybe because they usually come out in theaters around that time. And so I just associate it with that. But yeah, that's a good pick. There you go.
Yeah. Thanks.
So my next movie pick, I was trying really hard to like stick mostly to like winter and not like so much be limited to like, oh, and then this is another Christmas movie and this is another Christmas movie. You know what I mean? But this is a Christmas movie. But I do think that it's like, if you guys also like don't celebrate Christmas or just don't want to feel like engaging in Christmas content, I think it like mostly gives like winter cozy. Like, I haven't said the title yet. It's While You Were Sleeping, which is a movie from 1995 starring Sandra Bullock. and Bill Pullman. It's a rom-com. And so I watched this, I think, when I was younger. And then I was like, didn't care about it because I didn't understand the power of romance when I was a kid. And then like, in my 20s, I rewatched it and I was like, why is this the best movie ever? Like, not even exaggerating. It just makes me feel so good. So this is a movie about a young woman named Annie, and she works at a transit station. And she essentially like falls head over heels in love with this man who comes through her station every day, you know, drops his coin off at her station, boards his train. She is obsessed with him, has never spoken to him before in her life. But like from a distance, you know, is crushing.
Me.
Yeah, exactly. Me core, like for real. But one day, this man, whose name is Peter, by the way, is waiting for his train, and he gets mugged, and he gets pushed to the tracks and hits his head. And
what?
gets knocked unconscious on the tracks. And so Annie, seeing this, being in love with him, is like, I'm gonna save this man's life. And so she runs onto the tracks, saves his life, pulls him from a train at the very last minute, and takes him to the hospital because he hit his head and he's now fallen into like just a minor coma. And so she
No big deal.
no big deal. Anyway, so she's in the hospital with him, and she meets Peter's family, who mistakenly take her as his fiance, who they've never met. And Annie, being like really confused and lost in the hubbub of everything going on, doesn't really correct them and kind of like just goes along with it.
Okay.
It's all for all innocent reasons. Trust. It's not like she's being malicious, but like she just like mistakenly gets confused as his fiance. And so she's like, well, it's Christmas time. I don't want to cause any more stress. Like, their family members in a coma. Like, I'll just do it until like, and I'll come clean, like after Christmas. Only problem is, she meets this really pretty guy's brother, whose name is Jack, and he seems to be the only one who's like actually questioning Annie's identity, being like, I don't think that's his fiance. But like as he starts to question her, he's like, well, I kind of like her a little.
Oh my god, I knew it.
So good. Listen, you guys, it's one of those rom-coms that you like expect it to be so much more stressful than it actually is. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, this situation is insane, and you're like, this cannot end well. And you know me, Laura, I hate when characters dig holes that they can't get out of.
Yes.
Right? Stresses me out. This one is like mostly just fun vibes. Like, it genuinely is not that serious. And so, and it's about like finding a family when like everything in your life feels like so like secluded and isolated and lonely. And like how important it is to like make your life, specifically when it's like the most dreary time of the year, do you know what I mean? Make your life so colorful and warm and inviting that like it counteracts any of that like sadness that you could be feeling around Christmas time. Or like winter. So it's great, you guys. And Bill Pullman and Sandra Bullock are so good in it. Like, just watch it. It's on Disney Plus.
Okay. Okay, that sounds fun.
And we have no ads right now, Laura. So
yeah, we still got no ads. So wait, you got to tell me when that's over.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll try to watch it before it's over.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like a fun one. I like that.
Yeah, just a little goofy guy. It's good.
So we got like 2 like emotional ones, and then like, you know, a Star Wars, not really cult classic per se, but in that vibe, and then a rom-com. I love it.
Yeah, it's good range.
Yeah. Okay, music time.
Yes.
So my first recommendation is going to be the Cheetah-licious Christmas album.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Which came out in 2005. By the Cheetah Girls, if you couldn't figure that out yet. So personally, this is like one of my faves, and I know that that's because like I grew up listening to it, so it's like it's the nostalgia for me. So it's like if you've never listened to it, I don't know if it'll like hit as hard, but I think the songs are really good. And me and my sisters used to always, we had like the literal physical CD, and we would always play it when we were like putting up all the Christmas decorations, and it makes me like just so happy to listen to. And so if you were a fan of the Cheetah Girls growing up, or you like to like get your DComs on, then like, it's just Disney Channel music from when you're a kid. Like it can just make you happy.
Yeah.
And they cover some like of the like classic Christmas songs, but they also have some originals. So if you're like if you are don't want to listen to like the same 10 songs over and over, and you are looking to add some different songs to your playlist or whatever, um they have some originals that are kind of fun. So yeah, it's on Spotify.
There you
So
go.
yeah, you can
No
listen to it on
excuses.
Spotify. Yeah. I just thought, I don't know, that's just like a
That's
fun
a fun one.
one. So
That's a silly, goofy one. Yeah, it's a good
yeah.
one. Good. Okay, sweet. So my recommendation, it kind of goes the other way, but I'm gonna recommend "Blue" by Joni Mitchell, which is an album from like the 1970s. So good. I feel like this is like a classic. Like, I mean, a lot of people are aware of like the impact of Blue, but like it's just like I feel like it's like a really good like winter recommendation because it's like I don't know, like Joni just like gets like that feeling of being sad and alone. Like she understands. Anyway, but like most specifically, my favorite Christmas song is on this album, which is crazy because it's not really even a Christmas song, I guess, and it's just like randomly on this like critically acclaimed beautiful album. But so my favorite Christmas song is River by Joni Mitchell. It's so good, but it's like the main lyric in that is like, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I think it's one of like the most profound simple and profound lyrics I've ever heard. It's so good. But anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna say you guys should listen to this album because it like just like come on, it's like Blue. Like it's like what other like that is like the epitome of winter. Like it's like
Right.
a
blue Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a well-written album. Like Joni's like most known for her songwriting, and so if like you want really good songwriting storytelling, you're gonna get it here. She's got a lot of her hits on here. Like there's like A Case of You, which is one of Joni Mitchell's most popular songs. I love California. I love Carrie. I love All I Want. Hit after hit. It's also the first winter season where like Joni Mitchell put her music back on Spotify. It was taken off for a little bit because just politics and people on Spotify should not be on Spotify. And so she was like, I don't want it to be on here when there are hateful people on the platform. Valid. But she put it back on. So don't take this for granted, you guys. Don't let this pass you by. It's so good. It's so good. So yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
Okay, I liked that.
Yeah.
Okay, my second recommendation, and once I say it, Danielle's gonna say, "Oh, I could have guessed this."
Okay.
Is the Little Women soundtrack?
Yeah. Okay. Valid.
The 2019, the score. I believe, and now I'm freaking out that I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's Alexander Display. I'm not exactly sure how to say his name, but he is one of my absolute favorite composers. I have a few favorite movie composers, and he is one of them. And this score is like, this score and Inside Out are like my two, I think they are my two favorite movie scores ever. And anyways, I just am a big fan of listening to movie scores, and I just want to like, I think maybe a lot of people don't think about doing that, and it, first of all, it enhances, when you rewatch the movie, it enhances the rewatch so much because you hear the music, like you hear it so strong. I promise, if you listen to like, even if you're listening to it passively, like if you're working or doing homework or like anything like that, or reading, like I listen to them while I'm reading, like the songs will jump out at you the next time you watch it. And so I recommend Little Women for Christmas time because it's obviously like, I don't know, to me Little Women is like a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs are very Christmas vibes, like Snow in the Garden, and like, just It's so good. It's so good. So I was thinking, like, if anyone is hosting any sort of holiday party and you just want to like have music on in the background, but again, you don't want to listen to like the same 10 songs covered by a million different people,
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend some movie scores. You could throw a few songs from Frozen in there too. I was thinking like that's another one that has some of the ones from Frozen are like they would be weird vibes to be like playing during like a holiday party, but like
Yeah.
but anyways, the Little Women one though, I feel like it's just like beautiful music. It's so what I love about it is that you can listen to them and enjoy them without the movie playing, because like sometimes movie scores it's very like and there's nothing wrong with this, but sometimes the music is so ambiance that it's like it's not really like a song. Do you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
just listen to it, it doesn't necessarily like sound like anything super specific, but I feel like this is one of those scores where like there's clear themes, there's clear songs, there's clear moments, there's clear emotions and intentions, and it is just like it is one of my favorite albums ever. I have it on CD, and when I had a car, I would listen to it in the car all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
That's good because like I was debating and fighting with myself like on whether or not I was going to put Little Women in either like my book recommendations or my movie recommendations, but I'm like, oh, it's so obvious though. Like it's like everyone recommends
Right.
these books and these movies, but like recommending it for music is kind of like, okay, wait, but like that's kind
Hey,
of
big
smart.
brain.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one. That's a good one. Okay, sweet. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay. So my final music recommendation. Now, here's time for a silly one. I'm going to recommend Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen specifically.
Okay.
This is like I think just like the feel good classic Christmas
Yeah.
song. You know, it's like it's been one of my favorite Christmas songs since I was like 6 years old. Like one time when I was when I was like 7, at like as a young child, I was at a holiday karaoke party, and these two girls requested Santa Claus is Coming to Town. They were probably like 5, by the way, so you know, valid. And this version came on, and they had to sing along with this, and they were like so like upset because they were like, I don't know this song, and I publicly shamed them for it. I was like, what do you mean? This is like the superior version, you tasteless losers. Like I was like,
Oh my gosh.
I was so upset. But like I stand by it. Truly, I'd say it again. Yeah, I love Bruce Springsteen. I actually think like he's one of those artists that like you genuinely can just like feel like his excitement and like happiness and love for music come through in like all of his songs, and
Yeah.
specifically this one, like because it's like a live version of a concert that he did.
Yeah.
It's so like contagious. It's great. Like try being in a bad mood and putting the song on. I genuinely feel like you can't, like you have to. It's
You'll
so
be happy.
good. It's so good. Yeah, I know. And I
Yeah.
can recite his little speech that he gives at the beginning. It's
That's
so
so cute.
good.
I
Anyway.
remember your Bruce Springsteen shirt.
Oh my god. Yeah, and like
that little tank top.
yes, and like I'm gonna be
Mhm.
honest, like that, like this song and maybe like Born in the USA were like the only two Bruce Springsteen songs I knew at that time.
And that's valid.
Yeah, I mean, hey, now I'm like he that's my man. Bruce Springsteen's my man for real. I'll ride for Bruce Springsteen.
So that was our quick. That was supposed to be quick, right?
Yeah,
We tried.
you know.
So here's our secret third music recommendation.
Yeah.
Evermore by Taylor Swift.
Duh. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Come on. You guys should have expected that.
Come on.
So this is just like, I feel like it's, besides for her Christmas album, I guess, like this is the most winter coded Taylor album.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so good.
For sure.
It's so good. We are big Folklore Evermore girlies.
Yeah. Yep.
So we wanted to try just like maybe going track by track and just like talking about the album. I think Dan has some notes. I didn't take notes, so I'm just
My notes are like very sparse and incoherent, so we'll see.
Okay. But we just want to like chat about the album. We've had like this idea of for like one of our YAP sessions to like
Do like a breakdown.
dive into an album,
Yeah.
but we just have never done it,
Yeah.
and we felt like
Now's
this was
the
the right
time.
time. Yeah.
Exactly.
So hopefully you like the album too,
Yeah.
and you're still here and listening.
Yeah. Truly. Hi, this is our
Yeah.
Evermore breakdown.
Okay, so should we just like we can't like dwell on all of them for 20 minutes.
I know,
but
it's true.
even though we could.
We could. Trust.
It's
Trust.
possible.
We could.
But for the sake of like the episode not being 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yes. So I think what's a good place to start is if we kind of actually just explain the lore of Evermore, in case like you live under a rock for some reason and like you're on our Taylor Swift podcast, kind of Taylor Swift book podcast, and don't know what Evermore is. By the way, if you guys don't know, we've talked about this before, but Read the Last Page is literally based on our title is based on a Taylor Swift lyric, so I feel like it's like it comes with the territory, like we're hoping you have some Swiftie knowledge. But anyway, if you don't know about Evermore is Taylor Swift's like I think 10th 8th studio album. I don't even know. Anyway, one of her most recent ones is 2020. This was
Midnight's was 10, right?
Yeah, so Evermore.
So would it be her 9th?
Her Evermore was 9th. Okay.
I think.
Wait, okay. Taylor Swift, Fearless, Speak Now, Red, 1989, Reputation, Lover, Folklore. Yeah, Evermore. Evermore's 9. Okay, lucky 9. Thank you for clarifying that because I said 8th or 10th, but I did not say 9th. So there you go.
You were circling.
I was like in that area. Okay, yeah. So Evermore, this came out in 2020, which was the year that Taylor Swift released Folklore. Folklore was a huge moment for Taylor Swift, and I would just say the music industry for a good couple months there because Taylor Swift has
a surprise.
Yeah, it was a surprise album. She dropped it literally the day of that she announced it. And it was kind of like something that Taylor has never done before as far as like an artist. She's been known for like country in her earlier days, and then she transitioned into pop pretty seamlessly around the Red 1989 era. And then like she just decided, hey, I'm gonna like really kind of like strip back everything that I think makes me Taylor Swift and focus on like the thing that I think I'm the greatest at and that I want to cement as like my best asset, which would be my songwriting. And so with Folklore, she describes this as like she kind of went into the woods and she created this collection of characters and these songs that for the first time weren't really about her, which is like one thing that Taylor Swift is so known for, is like writing songs about her own personal pain and experience. She decided to just create these mythical creatures and characters and write their stories. And her songwriting, like this is her best songwriting in my opinion on Evermore and Folklore. Such great writing, and then like also like really folksy kind of like stripped back production. It's so great. And so a few months after Folklore, we were still loving Folklore. We weren't even begging her for any music. I know now it feels like we're kind of greedy as
some people the Twitter stands, the TikTok stands, they're kind of crazy.
they're like more please.
We're not crazy, by the way.
No, like if she wants to give, she can give. If not, take the break, girl. but we were still so satisfied with Folklore. And then 3 months later, on her birthday, she was like, oh, by the way, I'm dropping a sister album to Folklore called Evermore. It's going to be more so, I think she describes Folklore as being like that spring summer kind of album, and then Evermore's like her fall winter. So like they're kind of like in communication with each other there.
Right.
So yeah, so this is Evermore, and this is like it is the fall winter album just because the songs sound more like rooted in that like warm tone that makes like fall and winter so like cozy fall winter, but then also like I think the themes that we'll talk about it more as we get in there, but like you'll see it's very much a fall winter album. It's so good. So that's like the Evermore breakdown, I would say, as far as kind of
no, that was
that
good.
album.
I hadn't even thought about like educating the public. That was good.
Yeah. I don't know. There you go.
So it starts out on Willow, right?
That's the opening track, which by the way, this is her most streamed opening track on a Taylor Swift album.
Really?
Yeah, and it's because I think it's one of the only ones. I think it is the only one where she made this like the titular single. You know what I mean? Like the first single. And I think this is the only single on Evermore. Maybe question mark.
Oh,
I don't know that.
that's
for a fact.
interesting.
Yeah. So, I love this one actually. I feel.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's a great opener.
I know. Sorry, I love Willow.
The music, like the intro music, it's like, and now we're listening to a fall winter album.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Here
it's so true because it's like, okay, so one thing I love about Folklore is like the one I think is such a good opener for Folklore because it's like immediately you're like, I've never heard the sound from Taylor Swift before, and like
listening to it to the first time was crazy.
That enough. I think that worked enough to kind of get you introduced into that Folklore world. I think Evermore though, you have a little bit more of a challenge because you have to be like, okay, what's differentiating this album from Folklore?
Mm-hmm.
And like I already kind of used up a lot of my a lot of the tools in my wheelhouse for Folklore, and like I think she kind of wanted to make this even like a deeper dive into that specific like she, you know, her the woods that she tapped into on Folklore. She was like, let's go even deeper. And so like Evermore Willow is such an interesting introduction because like she's like putting her whole weight into like that, like, ooh, like we're in a cabin in the forest, and like we're in a witchy coven, and like just like
like the willow and I bent right to your wind, like the imagery is so strong.
So good. Yeah, that's such a good point. Yeah. And I love this music video. Have you ever seen this music video?
No.
Yeah, I knew you're not really a music video girl, but like
which is crazy because I need to be, because I would love to like choreograph a music video.
This one actually has sorry, continue.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't know, it's because it always feels like I want to like see it and it be spectacular, and so if I'm not like in a clear state of mind, then I'm like not ready to watch a music video, but then I never remember to do it when it's like a good time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. Well, I mean, if you've seen the Eras tour, like for her Willow performance, or like the Eras performance, like
is it like similar?
Yeah, like it's like you know, remember like the people in those like cloaks and they were like kind of like dancing like that, like that's like literally taken from a specific scene from the Willow music video.
Okay, I should just watch
I
need to just have a day where I just watch all of her music videos, so then I have seen them all.
One time Haley and I we went as far as this was like the night that Folklore was supposed to come out, and we were like, okay, we're literally gonna rank all of Taylor Swift's love interests in every music video based on like how much we want them. So but like we've decided sorry we decided after Willow, we were like, this guy I think actually should be kind of at the top of the list.
Oh really?
He's very nice to look at.
I didn't even know there was a guy in it.
Yeah, I think it's one of her past dancers actually. She just hired him for her music video. Yeah, so there you go.
That's a dream.
Yeah. No, I know. Me next.
Well, okay, yeah.
Me when?
Yeah. Dancing for a Taylor Swift music video or her tour is just like, that would be so cool.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. What's track 2?
Champagne.
Or did you have something else to say?
No, nope, we're good. Track 2 is Champagne Problems. And this...
Oh,
yeah. This, when I was listening to the album, I was like, oh, so this is an album. Like, for the first time. Like, I was like, yeah, this is a crazy second track.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, by the way, I'm a writer. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I'm a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one
is
like favorites.
One of your favorites. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
I love this one too.
It's so good. The bridge is insane. I love songs that
I wish I
build.
Yeah. I wish I had all the lyrics in front of me.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. I feel like too, one thing about a lot of songs on Taylor Swift's on this album specifically, they feel almost like a panic attack to me, if that makes sense. I think I've talked about this with you before, but like a lot of her songs are like very like da 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 da, you know, like it's like you're not getting a breath quick enough, and it feels like it's like it's like building up on like this anxiety kind of feeling, and then it like reaches like ahead, and then it like crashes down. Do you know what I mean? And like that to me is like such a good like realistic depiction of like feeling like overwhelmed, anxious, like feeling like your life is falling apart, or like the process of like a thought spiral, like having that played out so well in a song is just like incredible to me. And
For me, like something that I really like in this one is like the da 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 da
Mm-hmm.
da da da. That to me feels like sparkly, not in like a not in a sequins type of way, but it's like going like this. Sorry if you're not watching the YouTube video, you can't see my hands, but it's like something about the way that it's like circling
Yeah.
feels like it like reminds me of like champagne. I always seems
Oh,
sparkly
yeah,
to me like
bubbly.
because of
Yeah.
the bubbles, and so it's just like I love when the performance of the lyrics like mirrors the
Instrumental.
the image or the intent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
So true. Which we're gonna talk about maybe a little bit in Gold Rush, but like
Hey,
literally, like
I
yeah.
love that one so
Yeah,
bad.
no, girl, I'm so excited to get a Gold Rush. But yeah, I love this one. I think it's like just like really good Taylor Swift writing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also love one thing I like about this one is like at the very end, it's like that piano that goes do 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 do, you know, like
Yeah.
I just love that little part. It's so cute.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um,
True. Yeah. Okay. What's track 3?
Track 3 is Gold Rush, which
Oh,
this
okay,
is one
yeah,
of
yeah,
mine and Laura's equally favorite Taylor Swift songs. There was like
Yeah.
the year what was this 2020 or maybe this is 2021, but this was our both equally like each. Sorry, let me say this again. 2021. This was each our most played song on Spotify.
Yeah.
Like that's
It's
how
so
serious it is.
good.
Yeah.
It's so I don't even know where to start. It's just do you have somewhere to start? 'Cause
Well,
it's just so good.
First of all, this is for all of my maladaptive daydreamers out there. Like, I think it's just like such a beautiful song that like depicts yearning so well. And I love a yearn. I love yearning, and I love people who aren't
Yeah.
afraid to yearn. And this song is not afraid to yearn. And I mean, B and I talked about this a lot, but like she kind of talked about it a bit in like the Champagne Problems one. But like I personally really like it when songs have these have instrumentals that sound like what the lyrics are saying, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's like, for
Yes.
example, this song is about like a maladaptive daydream where like the narrator is explaining this dream life that she has with the person, and then she remembers that it's not real and it doesn't exist. And while she like is lamenting about all this, like this instrumental is sounding so like dreamlike, so heavenly, like twinkly, and it sounds like we're physically going like in and out of the dream with her singing. It just like
Right.
it makes so much sense to me. It feels so nice, like, and yeah, I just think like also this is one of my favorite Jack Antonoff production. I feel like it's just like
Yeah.
so like pretty and like seamless to listen to.
Yes. I really like I was just if you heard me typing, sorry. Cuz I was like I need to look up the lyrics so
Oh, okay.
I can like talk specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But like the part where it's like what must it be like to grow up that beautiful with your hair falling into place like dominoes, like that the way I guess it's like the melody right there, the way that she's singing it, like with your hair falling into da 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 da. Like I just feel like it's kind of different than like her typical type of
Music.
I don't know, not music, but just like in the song, I feel like there's a lot of like I don't know, like it doesn't sound the song doesn't sound the same the whole way through. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Like
I agree.
we have like the la la la, and
Yeah.
then we have hair falling into place
I
like
know,
dominoes.
yeah.
Like I just really I love the way that sounds, and I love that it's like it's not the whole song. It's just like here it is, and there it is, and here it is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
No, like that's why I think it's so good, because it's like it really feels like we're going in and out of like her mind with her, like her dream
Yeah.
state with her, and it's like wow, this is like so beautiful, and then crashes down. Like it's like
yeah.
the beginning is just like so like you're entering like this cloud of like wow, it's like so beautiful, so hazy, so lovely, and then she like drops to me and she goes, I don't like a gold rush. And then
Yeah.
it's like you're going on a journey with her. It feels
Yeah.
you just have to kind of like take her hand and like watch her like drag you through it, and it feels
Yeah.
so good. It's just so great.
Yeah. And I think like because of that, like it's so the song is so dynamic, like it's changing a lot, and it makes it just such
Such a
a
fun listen.
fun like
Yeah.
it's so enjoyable to just listen to,
It's,
you know.
it
like,
has to me like insane like replay value, you know,
obviously,
like
yeah, because
yeah,
it was like
our top song.
song.
But I think it's just because it's like never, it's just like it's the perfect length to me. It ends
Uh-huh.
where it begins, which I love. I love when she does that because it feels
Mhm.
like so like cyclical, and it's just
Mhm.
like it's so easy to want to just like listen to it again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and like B said, it's like so like dynamic that like it's like almost impossible to get bored when you're like listening
Yeah.
to it, like because it's just like it's constantly changing.
True. So true.
So good. And I also like the rhyme scheme she does in this and how she has to rhyme with like the ush kind of sound. So
Oh
she's like
yeah.
gold rush, bone crush,
Yeah.
red flush. Like
Blush.
it's like
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Also, my stomach just growled really loud. If
Oh.
it picked up on the mic, I'm sorry, everybody.
If it doesn't, you just expose
It was
yourself.
really loud to me.
There you go. That's funny.
Yeah. That's a top fave.
That's a top
for
fave
sure.
For sure. This is like Evermore to me. I'm like, this is what makes it like my favorite album is just like the fact that like this is like the run. Like we get Champagne Problems, Gold Rush next to each other. We're gonna later on we have two of my other very favorite songs back to back also. I'm like, there's so many gems in this album. Like I'm just like cream of the crop. Like genuinely great songs.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay. Hit me with what's next.
You're gonna freak. 'Tis the damn season.
Ow! Oh, and this is like the winter song.
This is the winter.
know,
This is what cements it as the winter album.
song.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. This song I did not latch onto at first.
Me neither.
I was just like, okay, like whatever.
Mhm.
Now
it's that girl.
you can come with me. Like I go so hard for this one. It's just like I actually think I really like the verses, like if you want da, 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 the way that she's singing and the background music that's like
Yeah.
like it's like keeps coming at you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I really, really like it.
I know. I think it's like I love it when she really like digs into like that deeper register that she is, because like Taylor Swift's an alto and like she can reach those deep notes, and like I love it when she does, because like I feel like that's what makes this feel so like deep and beautiful. And like this song to me is like the equivalent of like cranberry sauce, if that makes sense, like that deep cranberry or like even like a plum color. Like I'm like, ooh, it's just like so rich. It's so good. Also, she wrote this when she was drunk, by the way, which to me I'm like, girl, like have you ever seen the folklore Long Pond session on Disney Plus? It's basically just her playing through the entire folklore album and then like talking with like her two producers, Jack and Aaron, about like their songwriting and like music making process. It's really great. But like in one of those days, she like got so drunk while she was filming, and then after they stopped filming, she goes and she just writes "'Tis a Damn Season," and I'm
so
like,
crazy.
that girl's a genius. I'm sorry, but that's a genius. Sorry. Yeah.
Also, I hope she's okay.
I think she's okay.
Just some of her newer songs.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, are you okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like not something I've ever experienced. I've never had a hometown crush that I come back to when I come back home to stay with my parents, because I live with my parents my whole life. But it's like, but I get it. You know what I mean?
No, this is what I was gonna say. So I listened to a podcast once. It's one of my favorite podcasts. It's called Sentimental Garbage, and they had a Taylor Swift episode where they were talking about Taylor, and like the guest on the podcast chose this song to like make the statement like this is what cements Taylor Swift as a great songwriter. And I thought that was so interesting, because I was like, wait, that's such a random pick.
Yeah.
But it's because she said that Taylor Swift is one of those people who she is able to find a situation that is both so universal and so hyper specific to every person. So like the fact that she was able to pick such like a specific situation that like either almost everybody's been through, or people, if you haven't been through it, like you understand the feeling, or you can understand why people do this. It's like the idea of being home for the holidays and feeling so lonely and so nostalgic that you start to yearn for like company that you know it like will only hurt you in the end or won't work out. It's like it's so universal, because it's like like we're all yearning for past lives or past loves, right? But also so specific. Like it's like, wow, isn't it so lonely to be home in your town as a stranger for the first time, and like wanting to feel like you can turn back the clock and belong again, and so you fall back into old habits.
Yeah.
Like, wow, genius.
Yeah. No, that's so real.
Yeah.
So good.
She's so smart.
Big brain.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I just love it. Even though I'm leaving to the damn season. I love this one.
Yeah. Okay, that was number 4.
4. Yeah. So track 5. You know this one, yeah? Do you know track 5?
I don't know.
Guys, one thing about Laura, she doesn't know like the track 5 lore with the Taylor Swift community.
I mean, you've told me about it.
Yeah.
But there's one track 5 that
you're not a fan
no
of.
offense.
But you like...
I mean, I love Taylor Swift songs, but
Yeah.
there's one that I'm just like, wait, this is the track 5.
Yeah.
Anyways.
We won't say. I know we might get some haters out there. Anyway, so this is one of your faves though, I think. I think you really like this one. It's Tolerate It.
Yeah.
Laura loves Tolerate It.
This song, and without going too much into my personal life, there's something about this song that really relates to my life. And it's just so everyone is aware, like, don't worry about me. It's not really about me. I feel loved. Okay. But like, I can relate it to something in my life very strongly. And it's like, and it's not even like we were saying on the last one, it's not even the exact situation that Taylor is necessarily talking about, but it's so, everything she's saying is so true to my own experience. And it's this one, like, when this album first came out, this was probably my most played through.
Really?
Which is like crazy because it's so sad.
I know. Wait, that's interesting.
Like, why was I doing this to myself?
Yeah.
But, and I love the, okay, I don't sound like Taylor Swift, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And the part, the whole part where she's like, da 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 da, gain the weight of you and lose it. Believe me, I could do it. That part,
incredible.
Like,
chills.
That will bring me to tears, like, almost every time.
Yeah.
It's just like, and the way that she's singing it, like, the, like, believe me, I could do it. Like, I could do all this stuff, and I'm trying to, like, I'm trying to be what you need me to be.
Yeah.
But trust, I could walk away. I could do all this stuff.
Yeah.
You have no idea what I'm capable of. Like, the way she sings that, like, I feel so much, like, emotion brimming on the surface that it's like the speaker, the narrator is trying to, like, contain, because she's trying to, you know, it's so good. I think it's one of the best songs on the album. Like, you know, I don't really like to rank things, but if I were to pick, like of the, like, hyperly emotional songs, like, I feel like this one is probably, like, my favorite
for sure.
It's just, and of course in the Eras tour with the table and the dance, like, so that good. Was so awesome to see live, because it was so good. And this song is very close to me.
One thing I love about Taylor's music journey, I think, is she's gotten really great at being able to convey emotions in her music. And I think she's always kind of had that, but, like, I think there's a specific skill that she's been able to hone the older she gets, where it's like, Tolerate It is not necessarily a song about her. I mean, I don't want to, like, try to pry too much into her personal life that she's not disclosing, but, like, obviously she wrote these things and she probably feels a connection to them in some way. But, like, this song is, I believe, based on, like, Rebecca, which is a book by Daphne du Maurier. And, like, the fact that, like, you feel so moved by this narrator, because, like, the emotion that, like, she reaches in that bridge is so heartbreaking. This is genuinely one of the few Taylor Swift songs that, like, even though I've heard it 1,000 times, can still bring me to tears.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like, that's impactful. It's so good. And it's also, like I said, one of those Taylor Swift songs that is a full circle. And it's like, it starts with the same lyric that it ends on, or ends on the same lyrics that it starts on, which is, like, I sit and watch you, which is, like, the weight of that is insane.
And for me, when she's saying, like, believe me, I could do it, it's like that, I feel like you can feel the fear in her voice of, like almost like a shakiness, like she's, I don't know, like, she's saying she could do it, but does she really know that she can?
No.
But she's telling herself that she can.
Yeah.
So she's like, if it got to that, I could, but it would be so scary for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so much. To me, there's so much behind all of it.
Yeah,
That's so
the
good.
layers are crazy. You're so right.
Yeah,
it's such a good song. I'm intrigued to talk about this one. No Body, No Crime, which is such an
I knew this one was coming up soon.
Yeah, such a it's No Body, No Crime is such an interesting song to me because it's crammed between Tolerate It and then Happiness, which I'm like, oh, these are two of like the most heartbreaking songs I've ever heard, and it's like
like, so for me, like, when I feel like maybe I've told you a little bit about this, but when the album first came out, I listened to No Body, No Crime a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think the reason why is because, like, it's very easy to get right away because it paints such a strong picture. Like, to me, this is, like, such a strong narrative. Like, there's a clear beginning, middle, and end, and I think that's really cool. And so, like, it's just like, oh, I know what's happening, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, like, fun. It's, like, different. Like, a song about, like, covering up a murder, basically. Like, that's not something she's really sang about before. And, I don't know. I really liked it. And I still do like it, but I think now, like, it's not something that I, like, replay so much because it's just, like, I feel like I got it. Yeah. I got the story. And it doesn't, like... I feel like something like Tolerate It, it's dynamic with me as I...
Yes. I literally have this exact thing written down. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I feel like No Body, No Crime, like, it is what it is.
Yes.
So I don't necessarily gain something new every time I listen to it. Not that I have to gain something new from every time I listen to a song, but it's not really... I'm not really hit and replay on it so much. I still like it.
I have that exact thing written down. Like I said, it's not a song that you can like rip the context away from and still enjoy, if that makes sense. Like Tolerate It is like another song. I think this song has really great storytelling. Tolerate It, I think, is like a really great song to compare it to because like that is also a song I think has really great storytelling. But it's ultimately a song that I can like apply to certain things that I'm either going through in my life or like maybe like other people's lives. Like maybe it sounds like a book I'm reading or like a movie I'm reading, and like because of that you're getting so many different layers to the song, and then like No Body, No Crime is like you said, like it's very much its own thing. Like I don't think it always was going to have like a long shelf life for me personally because like the re-listenability, if that's a word, but the re-listen value is like quite low because there's really just like that one layer to the song, which is like the story, which is a great story, and I like it, but it's like like once you like get it, like you kind of get it, you know?
Right.
But it's a fun song. Like I actually think this is a good song where if you want to introduce Taylor Swift to people, I think this is like a fun one to kind of throw in there and be like, listen to this, see what you think of it. It's like, especially if you're like, if they're a fan of like the Chicks and like Goodbye Earl, like that gets that comparison all the time, but it's really good. Also, isn't it crazy to think that like this song has like very great storytelling on it and songwriting, and like the fact that we're like, nah, it's like
it's not her most you know,
it's like how good of an album do you have to make for this song to be like, no, this is one of the more like less special ones, I would say. Like, that's
for real
crazy. That's
because
crazy.
that's what's crazy is like even though it might not be our favorite, like
it's
to
good.
Me, I still think it's an incredible song.
It's good. Yeah.
Okay, Happiness.
Yeah, do you want to get into it?
Honestly, I can't say much about Happiness because I will cry.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I cannot listen to that song without crying.
Yeah.
So I don't listen to it very much because it's like dangerous if I'm driving. It's one of those songs. There's a couple things in my life that I can really, really apply this to and relate it to, and it's like nauseating to me. It's like this song is so good. It's like too good. It's a little too good.
She put a little something in it that
I just think this is such a good one because it's called Happiness, but it's obviously so sad. But it's about, you know, when we're in the midst of sad things, like
Yeah.
trying to remind yourself that like there will come happiness, like
Yeah. Oh,
given
it's
time.
so
And
hard. Yeah.
that's like, yeah, that's a really hard thing when you're in the midst of something hard
Mm-hmm.
to like digest and believe.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, this one really hits close to
Yeah.
home. And wow. Like,
Yeah.
I think the fact that I don't play it a lot speaks to how good it is. Because I'm like, I can't emotionally do it.
Yeah,
You
that's a
know?
really good point. I think it's like truly one of the most like poignant breakup songs ever. It like
Yeah.
walks that line between maturity and immaturity, which I think is like so clever on Taylor's part. I think that's like I think we see that actually a bit maybe more so in her like later albums now, like with like Tortured Poets Department. I think she does that
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit, where it's like, you know, juxtaposed with that feeling of having to act years beyond your age while also feeling like you are a grown adult, like throwing a tantrum in a gym.
Yeah, like I'm fine with my tears and
Yeah,
my tears and my
candles.
candles.
Yeah, so true. But so it's like the maturity that it takes to be like, there'll be happiness after you, but then there's also happiness because of you. And then like there's a
Mm-hmm.
line in it where she goes, I hope she'll be a beautiful fool who takes my spot next to you. No, I didn't mean that. Sorry, I
Yeah.
can't see facts through all of my fury. You haven't
Yeah,
met the new me yet.
that's
Like,
such a good line.
it's so good because it's like it's so accurate to that feeling of like your life is falling apart after a breakup, but then you have to put it on like the weight of like, but this is a marriage, and like or like a very long, like it's like they're dividing up their 7-year long relationship,
Right.
and so it's like you kind of are like forced to be an adult about it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like
yeah.
gone are the days where like you could wallow in your breakup and kind of be a baby about it, because like it's like this feels so like we have to be so legal about it. We have to either sign these papers, we have to divide our assets.
True.
It's like you can't just wallow. Like you actually need to find like the brighter side of things in order to like stay afloat and get through this breakup.
There. Yeah. I'm like I can't dwell on that one too long. What's next? Number 10.
Number 10, I guess so, is Dorothea. Is this number 10?
I don't know. Is that
like,
after
Tolerated
Happiness?
was 5, then we had Nobody No Crime, then we had Happiness. This is number 8, so we're on Dorothea.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I'm thinking then.
So
Number 8.
yeah,
Okay.
this was the first song written for Evermore. Fun fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I think is actually I think it's kind of almost a bit telling of like Evermore, and also like that journey that it takes. I think it takes like quite a journey if you think about like Dorothea being the first song, and I think
Yeah.
Happiness was the last one. And so like that's like
Wow.
wow, that growth of like
Yeah.
what she's willing to tap into as far as
Yeah.
like those
Wow.
emotions. But yeah, I like that like her first song Into Evermore was like a character song. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like a song
And
about
this
like
one's so sweet.
it's very sweet. It's very sweet. I think yeah, it's like I think it's like she needed to introduce kind of like she needed these characters to introduce us to like Evermore's feelings of like this yearning and like loss, but also like acceptance in a way that folklore doesn't really always tap into the same way. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like the characters in folklore are so different from the characters in Evermore in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I like it. I think this is just a sweet one. This is like a good friendship song, even though I'm like, is it a friendship song? I don't know, but like we take it as a friendship song.
We think of it as a friendship
Yeah.
song. Like, don't forget me.
No, literally. It's so good
Yeah.
for those people who live in their small towns in the Midwest or the South, and then their best friend moves to a big city like LA or New York to pursue their dreams.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little wow.
It's kind of so.
If only we knew people who were going through that same thing.
Yeah. So true. But yeah. Yeah, I like this one. And I like listening to it like it almost feels like dream-like.
Yeah.
Like just like sweet and like hey Dorothy, like it just makes me, it's not that it makes me so cheesy smiley, but it just makes me feel like pleasant. Do you know what I mean?
I feel a little giddy sometimes listening
Yeah,
to this. I'm
yeah.
like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's very sweet. And it's also
Yeah.
like again, like that maturity that is like that you see in this album from like people who like understand that like you want to put happiness first. I think it kind of like when you think about it, really, it's like that's such a full circle to have like this be the first song and happiness be the last song, because it's like truly like both of those songs are about like kind of like being you have that sadness that like that person's out of reach from you now, but like genuinely you're like, as long as you're happy, as long as we're moving forward, I'm rooting for you and I want nothing but the best for you. Like that's such a good kind of that overall and also hard message to that a lot of people are not trying to reach, you know what I mean? Like as far as that emotional closure. Anyway,
it's a good one.
We love that. Okay. Hello everybody, I'm so sorry I'm having to interrupt your listening / viewing. This is Dan here. If you're watching the video, you can see him in my room in a really, really big sweatshirt blanket that I bring out when it is truly freezing in my room and I refuse to turn on the heat. So this is where we're at. So I'm currently editing and I noticed that we did not talk about Coney Island. I'm actually so disappointed. I can't even start. So B cannot be here with us, but I was like, I can't leave our girl out, both B and Coney Island. So this is me adding my input about Coney Island post YAP SESH. I hope you guys can forgive me, all my Evermore twins out there. I'm so sorry for letting you guys down. Coney Island, I love this song. I think it is a very like, well, first of all, beautiful duet. I'm obsessed with the male vocals on this one. B wanted me to let you know that she's literally sat on the bench in Coney Island. I will be attaching a photo here. I think this is just a great song that always makes me think of Uptown Girls for some reason. I mean, I know the reason. If you guys have seen Uptown Girls, you know, like the titular scene of them spinning in teacups, thinking about how childhood ends. I just think that like Coney Island is such a beautiful analogy to kind of talk about the ending of something once magical and vibrant being tarnished before your eyes, but you still have that like soft spot for it. You still have that like nostalgic memory of it, and like that's never gonna change, you know? Anyway, B also says, can you just let them know that I love this one? And that we got way too excited to jump into Ivy, which is true. Ivy, unfortunately, we played favorites and jumped to Ivy too quickly. Coney Island, we still love you. I also didn't realize that Coney Island was like a functioning park still, which is definitely on me. So B visited Coney Island earlier this year and texted me about it, and I was like, Coney Island is still an operating park. In my defense, why is everybody acting like it's closed down? Every time I see it in a piece of media, it's closed down. I don't understand. Anyway, I'm yapping too much. Sorry again. Let's get into Ivy. Next one.
Yeah.
I like this one. This is Ivy. She's my girl.
Yep.
This is my girl. I love this song.
It's so beautiful. Everything about
Everything
it. I
about
love it.
It's so good. I know, it's so good. This is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, I think. And again, it's one of those that like, oh my god, the picture it paints. Like I'm literally in this marriage with you. Like I'm literally running from my horrible spouse with you. Like I'm genuinely there. Yeah. Also, fun fact, it's like it's not about, but what I take it to be about is like, in my head, I'm like, this is so Emily Dickinson core, which like, I don't know if you know anything about Emily Dickinson, but like her
just
whole
what you've
thing,
told me.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, always on the mind. But like her whole thing is like, she was an incredibly famous poet, and people speculate that she was in love with like her best friend / sister-in-law, Sue. And so Sue was in a marriage with like Emily's brother, and the song To Me, I'm like, it makes so much sense with like Sue's story and like getting away from her husband to be with Emily. It's just like I'm like, wow. And it's like,
he wants what's only
yours. Yeah. And it's just like, and also Emily Dickinson has a poem called Sue Forevermore. which could mean nothing.
Okay.
That could mean nothing. I don't know.
But it could definitely mean something.
It could mean something. So like
Yeah.
that's what I like to, and I feel like it, like the depth of that, I think it adds
Yeah.
a lot to Taylor's music for this song.
Yeah.
If that makes
Yeah.
sense. And again, like that just speaks to like Taylor Swift as a creator and like a music songwriter, you know. She like genuinely is able to create songs that like are able to take on these like lives of their own, like post her writing it, and like they can mean like so many things to so many different people. And it's like, imagine
Right.
writing a song and then people are like, that's crazy that this is like almost exactly Emily Dickinson's life story.
Right.
Like
yeah.
whether she intended it or not is like just like wow.
For me, this one, it's the music, it's the lyrics, it's the production, it's the overall, like, every single thing is everything I wanted.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, it also I was
it's
gonna
so good.
say it's a builder too. And again,
Yeah.
I love a good build. And like this one
Yeah.
is like the high beats that it hits where it's like oh, you know, it's like it's so
Yeah.
good. It makes you like
Yeah.
feel so good.
This is one that I actually really like the clean version of.
yeah.
Like, I have absolutely nothing against the explicit version, but I actually think that the clean version says a little bit more of, like, I feel like the lyric changes say a little bit of something different.
Yeah.
And I like the clean one more. Like, I think it's like, I like what it's getting across. Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I'm on my fall playlist, if anybody listened to it, Ivy's on there, and it's like the clean version.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I really, really like both. I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with either, but it's interesting how, because when she does clean versions, she doesn't just like usually just take out the word. She says something different.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how just a little tweak can like change the meaning of that part,
Yeah.
you know? Honestly, like, I have 0 notes. Like, this is an amazing,
Amazing
10 out of 10
song.
song. So don't drop your comments on
No,
this one.
no. Comments muted. Turned off. Sorry. Now we get to go into my favorite Taylor Swift song ever, which is Cowboy Like Me. The sucker, the 1-2 sucker punch of Ivy and Cowboy Like Me being back to back on this track list is a little too much for me, but I love it.
So this one, when we first heard this album, I was like, okay.
Laura was not a fan.
And Danielle's been writing like since day one. And as a best friend, I'm like, okay, I need to see what she's saying. I see it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get it.
Do you guys see?
She was right all along. She was right all along.
I knew. I was like, this song has amazing juice to it, and you just have to
Yeah.
tap into it. Yeah, I love this song. I think so. My roommate Haley and I are like, we've been writers for this song since day one. We talk about this song like it's like we're giving a hour and a half lecture on it. You know what I mean? Like it's so serious to us. And one of the things that we like to talk about it is like this song is so great, specifically because the first line drops you literally in the middle of the story. Like it goes, and the tennis court was covered up with some tent-like thing. This song really cements, I think, her songwriting on this album to me, because it's like she's emphasizing the fact that this is an album not just about storytelling, but it's an album about storytellers.
Yeah.
And like that to me is what makes it so fun.
But yeah, I love that it feels a little bit like reminiscent of her roots, you know what I mean?
100%. I agree with that.
It's so good. And thank goodness that Danielle brought me to Sing the Light.
This is also one of my favorite songs that I like to find like dynamics of when I'm like character dynamics of when I'm like reading books or like watching movies, because I'm always looking for like the Cowboy Like Me characters. It's like a good example of this for me is like Kaz and Inej from Six of Crows. Like they're like so like I'm gonna say my titular saying, but they're two sides of the same coin.
Yep.
But like they're in a way that like you don't see it at first, but then like the more they open up to each other, they're like, oh, you're a cowboy like me. We suffer from the same stuff. Like we know each other on a deeper level that the normal person couldn't also relate to, and so
it's so good.
there you go.
We love it.
Cowboy Like Me.
We love it.
Okay, next is Long Story Short.
Oh yeah.
This is a cutesy.
I remember this one.
yeah, this is cutesy.
This was one of the ones that I listened to a lot at the beginning. I think similar to Cowboy Like Me, it's like it's got that like beat, it's got that story.
Yeah.
It's like easy to latch onto.
Yeah.
I think this one is just fun. Like,
Me
I don't
too.
know.
Me too.
It's not one of my favorites from the album, but I still really like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like at the right moment. I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to listen to. Like, la la
Yeah.
la 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 la.
It's
Fun.
it's a classic love song, and I don't think we've gotten a lot of like actual love songs on this album so far, and that are like that feel nice
Yeah.
to listen to. And so like as far as like happy, so
Right.
yeah, and I like the wordplay on this one actually a lot. Like her rhyming is very like I think impressive. She has like I fell from the pedestal right down the rabbit hole, and then like
yeah.
pushed from the precipice clung to the nearest lips. Like it's like
Yeah, that's so
that's
true.
very satisfying to me. I like that she's playing with her wordplay,
Right.
and rhyme schemes. Yeah,
And kind of the Alice in Wonderland imagery.
yeah. Oh my god,
like-
that's really yeah.
Like, it feels very like girl in a story, you know?
Yeah, that's so true. Okay, well, long story short. To make a long story short, let's move on. Okay, and then we get into like the most like emotional, depressing song of all time, which is Marjorie. Right after Long Story Short.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're kind of on a roller coaster in this album.
I know.
This one I love.
This is great. This is a great one.
This is also a great one to dance to. I got a couple
Oh, I
TikToks, I think.
bet.
I mean, dance to this one. It's just so good.
Yeah, it's one of those songs that like I couldn't listen to it at first because it made me so sad, and then like I think one day I just realized that the bridge is actually so good that I have to suffer through
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
The bridge makes
It
me
is.
cry every time. Like the line specifically that says like should have kept every grocery store receipt because every scrap of you would be taken from me.
Taken from me.
Oh my
Yep.
god, like the pain that ricochets through my body.
Yes.
It's insane. It's insane. You know what?
I'm looking up the lyrics.
I have a text to text connection, Laura, for you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay.
So specifically, there's a line in this song that says, "Long limbs and frozen swims, you'd always where our feet could touch," which I think is one of like the more heartbreaking lyrics of the song. This reminds me of one of your favorite books, Shoot the Moon. And I'm not gonna spoil or anything. I'm not gonna give you any context to this moment, but I have to kind of describe a moment in it. There's a moment where our main character, somebody in her life, she kind of like has to, well, she finds herself begging them to like never leave her, essentially ask them like never go further than she can go. And it's like when you kind of hear that plea in the book, it like acts like if you've read any other stories and you know how a typical story arc works, this acts like a metaphorical scythe kind of throughout that book, because you know that naturally somebody is going to have to break that promise, maybe in some way, whatever that means. And so like to me, that reminded me so much of like, I think this song and that movie maybe share a lot of similarities, specifically because of like when I hear that lyric, I understand it in a new way, because I'm like, it's like the signs were always there that like you were going to go ahead and leave me and go somewhere I couldn't follow, but I just didn't understand or see or make that connection until it was too late.
Yeah.
It's so sad. It makes me like feel so upset.
Don't you love making connections? Isn't it so fun?
It is actually really fun.
But this is one of my favorite bridges overall.
For sure.
Like absolutely so good. And I love that it's like about her grandma, right?
Yep.
And I love that the things like never be so kind, you forget, like all of that. I mean, I think this is the point. It's like sounds like what your grandma would give you, like the advice your grandma would give you. And I just like think that was like a very beautiful way to like incorporate it without it, like it's not like my grandma told me to be kind, you know what I mean? Like it's not like cheesy, it's like it's very beautifully done.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And it's also like I love that she sings this on her tour, on the Eras tour, because like I think this being on the track list was like the biggest surprise to me, because I don't know how she sings this every single night. Like genuinely, this song is heartbreaking. But like what I like is that I feel like she kind of knows that the Eras tour was going to be like, or is like a time for women to get together, and whether that's like whatever relationship you have, whether that's like a mother and a daughter, or like two 30-year-old best friends, or like a grandmother and her granddaughter. Like, it's like, I think she understands how much of an impact this song has, and like what it would feel like to hear this song live when you're with like these groups of women that you love so much and you never want to be separated from, or like being with your mom and like having maybe like your mom have lost people like so close to her in her life, and like understanding that she's dealing with that grief. And like I feel like it would be like, that's so beautiful to me. It's just like I love that she gives this song time to exist on her set list. So yeah, love.
Oh, that's so good. Baby hearts.
Baby hearts. Okay, next is Closure, which I know you like Closure.
Yeah. Oh, do you not? Oh,
no, I like Closure. Trust. I think people hate on this one a little too much.
Oh, yeah. No, I love this one. This one took me a second to understand and get into, but the pots and the pans.
The pots and the pans. Girls. The girls who get it. Sorry.
They go hard. It makes so much sense. And if you don't get it, maybe try listening more critically.
Use your brain. Maybe next time when you're listening. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I think the way that they come in and out, the clanking, it's like, it's so true. like
yeah.
me telling people to think critically. I cannot speak critically.
Yeah, literally.
But like I said before, like I like when the song is very like when music is mirroring the intent of the lyrics, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like very specifically. And I feel like this is one of the ones where it is.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time. I don't know. I really like the lyrics too. Like, I don't know. I think this is a very curious song. It's a very like intriguing song. I like it.
Yeah.
I love
well,
it.
what I like to say, I have a note thing written, and I think that Closure, I think people hate on it a lot, but I think it's kind of like one of those thesis statement songs of the album, where like it's like, I think this song and then Evermore are like really truly like pulling together what the actual themes of this album are and what you should be taking away. And so like that's like the huge difference to me between like Folklore and Evermore, is how like I think it's how Taylor decides to close each song's story. So like Folklore is kind of like this album that to me, she opens a lot of wounds, and by the end of the song she doesn't really close them. Instead she kind of like lets them fester. It's like, that's why it's like Folklore to me feels like a very hard album to listen to at times, because it's like a truly depressing album. Because we have like Exile, we have like My Tears Ricocheted, we have August, we have Mad Woman, we have Illicit Affairs, we have Hoax. Like these are like painful songs where like they don't give you that like, oh, and then I healed kind of moment. It's like meant to leave that story open, and it doesn't feel like it feels like it's like a snapshot of that memory in that time. Like we're meant to feel all those emotions as raw as possible. And I think Evermore, on the other hand, is like the album that goes ahead and heals that wound.
Yeah.
Which is why I think for me personally, it didn't click as an album until I was like truly, truly like depressed, and I needed something that like would summarize how I felt succinctly, but then also told me that everything was gonna be okay and that I was gonna heal from it.
Right.
And so it's like you have songs like Happiness and like Long Story Short and Evermore and Marjorie and this one, and it's like these I think kind of like also hold similar candles to like Folklore songs, as far as like they're so painful and the wounds are just as deep, but like in these songs she's like closing that wound because like she wants to heal from him, she like wants to learn from these stories, she wants to like move on and find like new perspective. And
keep going.
You can go ahead.
I was just gonna say I feel like this one relates to what you were saying earlier about some of the other songs of like being on the line of like mature and immature. Like I feel like she's kind of like, yeah, I got your letter, like leave me alone, I'm fine. She's like being mature in the sense that she's moving on, but she's sometimes speaking a little immaturely, like yes, I got your letter, like I don't need your closer, like you know, I don't know, I hadn't thought about that until you said that earlier, and now that we're talking about this one, I'm like, oh, that theme is here too. I just always imagine it as some guy, wrote her a letter that's like, and I just know I was like such a bad boyfriend, and I'm so blah, and I'm so blah. And like when people make that all about themselves, like I know I was so like, it's like, okay, and we're past that. You know what I mean? Like,
I haven't thought of you
that's
in
like
like
the
5
vibe I
months.
get from it.
Yeah. That's a
Like
good point.
it's more like I feel like the guy or whatever in this song is like trying to write this letter or whatever it is, whatever type of closure he's trying to give to her. I always imagine it as like a letter or something.
Yeah.
And because he's like, oh, I need to give her the closure, but it's like, really, you wrote that letter for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Like, you think
Yeah.
you can, like, I know I'm just a wrinkle in your new life. Staying friends would iron it out so nice.
Yeah.
No, she's like, no, like, leave me alone. I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. Justice for closure.
Yeah. True.
Okay, yeah. So, last song on the album, at least on the non-bonus track album, is Evermore, titular line. Me and Laura love this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have sometimes listened to this like 4 times in a row. Like,
Me too.
like when I'm driving, I just keep pressing like repeat.
Oh my god,
It's so good. It's so good. What a titular song, honestly.
So it's like, not only is it the titular song, but the closing of the album, I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect.
Yeah. This one really is true to your comment earlier about them feeling like a panic attack.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then
yeah, like crashes
you know?
down. Oh my god,
Yeah.
it's so beautiful. I mean, okay, so to me, I was like thinking like the song reflects kind of like the album in a way. Like, I feel like it's like such like a typhoon of like all this
Ooh,
like
yeah.
sadness and like those ruminating feelings that we get throughout this album, and it's like crescendoing and then like to have it like break like in the song. Do you know what I mean? And then like that long exhale out. Like, I feel like it's taking everything we just experienced in this album, kind of like putting it into a song, and then it's like, then we get like those 30 seconds at the end where we're like, and it's okay. It's like such a good way, I think, to end this album. It's like we're ending it on like a note where it's like, this pain's not going to be forevermore. Everything that I just talked about, all the stuff that you felt, it exists and you learn from it, but it's not going to be that way for forever. And like, we're going to move on. It's just like, I love it. It's a journey. I love it.
Yes. One of my favorite things in this song, sorry, I was looking up the lyrics.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is at the beginning, she's talking about, I was catching my breath. She's talking about her footsteps and she's like catching herself. And then at the end, she says, floors of a cabin creaking under my step. So the floor now is holding her up. Before she was having to catch herself. And now she's like walking. It's not quite solid ground. It's creaking ground, but it's there. And it's like, oh my gosh, the like the subtle lyric changes, or like the parallelism in the lyrics, the way they develop through this song of like catching my breath, catching my death, and now the floor is creaking under my step, and she's like, I can't be sure, but I think I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's true.
So good.
I'm just gonna call it what it is. I believe this is a song about depression, and so it's like staring out the window. It's like you're you're going into a dark place,
Right.
and like you're actually in that wild winter, like that the pit of feeling as depressed as you can, and then the fact that like she's back inside, and like you're so right. Like, it's like she's not completely on steady ground, but like she's back inside. And like she has the hope to know that like I'm gonna get better. It's gonna get better. It's not gonna feel like this for forever. Great.
And the bridge of like,
It's so good.
cannot think of all the costs. It's, oh my gosh, it's so good. And it's exactly what you were saying before. It's that whirlwind of like, I just imagine her and like all this stuff is just like spiraling around her, like and then it just, oh my gosh, it's so good. This song also, I made a playlist, by the way, if anyone reads The 10,000 Doors of January. I made a playlist after I read it. It's super short. I'm pretty sure I have this song on there.
Really?
Yeah, it gives very
Similar
I'm
vibe.
pretty sure it's on there. If it's not, then I feel silly, but I'm pretty sure that it is. Um, yeah, it reminds me of a couple of the characters in the book.
Don't.
I won't say
Okay.
why because no spoilers. But
I might have to go and read that now.
yeah. If you read it, you should listen to the playlist and let me know what you think.
That's a good idea.
It's literally like it's less than 10 songs. It's super short.
Okay, sweet. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Did we want to get into like the bonus tracks, or I don't know how familiar
How many
you
are
with them.
there? I
They're just
forgot.
2. There's Right Where You Left Me and It's Time to Go.
Yeah, we can do it.
Okay.
Because I don't have a lot to say. So
Yeah. These will be
Let's go.
quick. Right Where You Left Me. I really like this one actually. I feel like this is one of those like it's some of her like best, most immersive songwriting. I think it paints like a very clear picture, which is lovely.
Mhm.
And it's another one that I think feels like a panic attack because of its writing. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like
Right.
na 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 na. Like it's like you can't really catch your breath. And like that's how it feels like when you're feeling like you're being left behind. Like that's genuinely the emotion that it invokes. That
Yeah.
I really like this one. It's one of my like roommate's favorites. Haley loves
Really?
this one. Yeah, so it's like I love this song like with her. Like I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
girl.
I really like this one too. I will say I think that the CD I have maybe didn't have the bonus tracks, so I don't know them as well because I when I used to drive, I prefer to listen to my CDs.
Mm-hmm.
So I know them, but I don't know them as well as the rest of the album. But I really like this one. Isn't this the one where it's like, you left me now?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I really like the way that she sings it. I like that little
Yeah, me
you
too.
know, just
Me
throughout
too.
the song. I like her artistic choices.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, that's Right Where You Left Me. Very good song. Very good song. Then this one is It's Time to Go. And I don't know how I feel about It's Time to Go. I think it's like I respect this song.
Uh-huh.
It's a very good premise. I love like there's a line in it that says he's got my past frozen behind glass, but I've got me. I'm like, that's slays. Love that. And that again, sorry, go.
Is this the one that's like sometimes da 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 is the right thing?
Yeah. No,
That one. Okay. I just want to make sure I was thinking of the right song.
Yeah. I mean,
'Cause
it's
again,
good.
I don't know this
I
one as
like
well.
it. I think it sounds good. It's just like to me, I feel like it's attempting to land on like that same beat that I think Evermore does, where it's like we're moving on from the situation and we're healing from the situation. But like I kind of think like Evermore does it maybe just a bit better. And so it's
yeah.
if I'm gonna close the album,
because Evermore is just like above, like you know,
it's like Evermore was made to be the album closer. Time to Go and Right Where You Left Me were kind of like thrown on as like, oh, and then these are the bonus tracks. So it's like it's not really completely meant to like close out the album, I would say.
Right.
But it's like I don't listen to it as an album closer. Like I'll listen to it like here and there. Like I'm like I'd rather close on Evermore.
Right.
But
right.
I respect it.
I feel like that's how I am too. Like I like it. It's not what I would. Yeah, if I'm looking for a song that's about moving on or whatever, like I'm gonna choose Evermore every time.
Yeah, literally. Sorry,
Yeah.
Evermore healed me as a person.
Yeah.
Evermore changed my life.
Yeah.
Evermore saved me.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, truly. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I think that's it then.
Yeah, what's crazy is that there's not a single
skip
song that is like, oh, and that one's not good.
No.
They're
Are you
all
kidding
good.
me? Like, it's like, this is Taylor Swift at her peak. Genuinely such good work.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's why this is my favorite Taylor Swift album forever and ever and ever. Like, I'm waiting for the day that she tops it, but I don't know if it can be topped.
Yeah.
It's just that girl.
I don't know what my top one is. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say I feel like it would be Folklore, but I don't know. Maybe
The thing about Folklore is it's like the ones that I love are so good, but I will admit I have a couple skips on that one. So it's like, is that really my top album? You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
But that run in the middle of
That's
Folklore,
so good. That's like, what is that? Exile, My Tears Ricochet. Like we have like Mirror Ball,
There's 7
7
Mirror Ball.
August. This
Like,
is me trying. Girl,
it's like,
oh
wait a
my
second.
God. Like, my life has changed. I could not
Yeah.
catch a breath.
Right. So I don't know. One of these days I'll figure it out and I'll let the masses know, but
Yeah.
who knows.
Yeah. So
Um,
good.
But yeah, so that's our fall, or not fall, winter
Recommendations. Yeah. And Evermore
The long
breakdown.
version.
The long version, for real. Read the last page version. Yeah, I genuinely, if you guys, because we want to hear your guys' thoughts. So if you have any thoughts about anything that we said, let us know. If you have any further analysis into Evermore, drop it below. I won't point out things that we didn't talk about because I
like, what's
wanna
your
learn.
favorite song and why?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we would love to hear.
Please.
And we'll bring it up, we'll respond to you.
Guys, we're chatters. Come on.
Literal professional yapper. Once we start getting like promos and partnerships, we'll be professional yappers. Once we start getting paid.
It's paid to do this for real.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that's it then.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you everyone for listening to Read the Last Page. Our music and illustrations are, of course, by the wonderful Sage Timothy.
Yeah, if you don't know our schedule yet, we host a book club episode once a month. So this month we are reading The Starless Sea, which I have to show for physical evidence right here.
Nice.
By Erin Morgenstern. So if you want to join us for a spoiler-filled discussion of that book, make sure you pick it up if you haven't already, and you can look out for that episode on the first Wednesday of December.
Before we get to the last page, though, we want to say thanks for listening. You can find us on your podcast platform of choice, or if you'd rather watch your podcast, you can find us on YouTube at Read the Last Page. And for now, we want to say bye from B
and Dan. Bye.
Bye.